Hey folks, fishing with this guy today.
Hey,
What are we, where are we going? What are we doing?
we're going to the river. We're going to be throwing some of this. This is a glittery, sparkly power bait.
Why?
It's a joke.
Alright.
We are going to be catching some big old trout. We're going to catch some monster smallmouth, and we're going to catch some donkey sturgeon. We're going to a stretch of river that is my personal favorite and one that I have never filmed at. In 13 years of doing this, I've never filmed here because it's just that good.
So this is going to be very heavy edit where you say, no, you can't put that riverbend in there.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
But you know, this is one of those places that you go to that you take really good true friends, right? That say, hey, look, we're gonna have a great time. It is guaranteed, and it's just a blast. And this is what I do for fun. We've been working really hard at building some premium trailer solutions, but today it's all about getting out and getting back to basics. Why are we doing this in the first place?
To go fishing.
To go fishing. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a great time.
Let's do it. Ooh, look at that. What do you think that is?
That looks like an F-16.
Nice. So they're out of
Mountain Home Air Force Base.
Oh, we're here. Hey, Steve, what are we missing?
What are we missing? Yeah, we're missing a kayak trailer. Where is it?
Why?
Well, I don't know. Supply, demand. We're
It's actually being built today. They're doing the work. His crew is busy building the one that I'm going to be carrying around the United States. I mean, I'm going to do a big perimeter loop. California, Arizona, Louisiana, some of Texas, Florida, Carolinas. Then I go home to Maryland and then do Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and then I'm back here.
Yep.
But we gotta build it first. So
build it.
It's being built right now. Vince is on it.
Colleen's on it.
All right.
Wow, Trey did a really good job rigging this thing.
Yeah, he did.
Ahead of schedule. This has got everything.
So today is Steve's first trip in his innovative sportsman inflatable, and Trey Leach did all the foot control steering, and Steve's hooking it up for the first time. We'll do some adjustments to make sure that your depth is right for how you're sitting in the water.
Yeah, I've just got it.
I'm looking at it thinking it should come up a little bit because it's fairly low.
Yeah, it's all
low mounting surface here. It's not, I think most kayaks are a little bit higher, so you probably want to do that quick release there. Open it up and slide that steering triangle down. There you go. Snake River here it appears to just have a lot of hydroelectric dams on it. I actually asked Steve how many dams does it have on it, and he just said, I don't really know, but he started naming them and rattled off like, I don't know, 10 of them. Like, he's like, I don't really know how many there are, but there's a bunch apparently. So he's out there messing around with his peregrine for the first time. I'm gonna go join him. Yeah, I got something on the you smallmouth? I got it on the crankbait. The deep diving Spro Little John. So that's my first Snake River smallmouth. Nice. Wow, there's a lot of current. So there it is, first one. Spro Little John deep diver. So I'm actually throwing this, hoping for trout, not because I'm interested in catching trout, but apparently that's what we're going to use as bait. I got to get pliers on this little guy. To catch the sturgeon. So catch some trout, and then catch the sturgeon, I guess. Got the one on the crankbait. I'm gonna switch pretty quickly to it's the South Blade jackhammer, and this is really clear water. I don't have a trailer on it, so it's just the skirt, and I'm thinking that's, you know, it's a good move. If you have clear water, give them a smaller target. Looks like Steve got his first fish. What'd you get? First fish in the inflatable? What'd you get there?
It's about a 19-inch rainbow trout.
Nice.
Nice heavy guy.
Wow. What'd you get him on?
Crankbait.
So if the trout are nice size like that, I should probably upsize from the Little John to something that's twice as long. I got a deep diving shad wrap, so we'll give that a go. Let's hook up again. What you got there?
Got another rainbow trout.
Nice. So are those the size we're going to use for bait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shoot. Flopping all over the deck.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of deck to work with, and you got those foot peg like walls, which is where you're supposed to put your registration numbers when you get that. They kind of keep a flopping fish right there in front of you.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
Otherwise, it's such a flat surface that like you basically, they'll flop right out. So.
Well, you know what I really like about this over having a pedal drive right in front of me is just the clearance, really. Just like the freedom to move. Yeah. And this boat is so dang lightweight. I mean, it just gets up and scoots. And well,
you're in the fastest one we make. And it's the fastest kayak that I've ever rigged. Tops out, with me in it, it's 7.6 mile per hour empty. And it's that long tail that gives it that speed, and that's what I designed it for, because we call it the peregrine, because the peregrine is the fastest animal on earth.
This is a perfect size for bait. Now Jeff, the way we're catching these fish right now,
that's bait.
So, well, I'm just going to use these two for bait for the day. We're not going to throw any more on the stringer, but this will be more than plenty. But the way you do it, buddy, is you take those crankbaits and you pull them off perpendicular across the current.
Yep.
Not coming straight back down, but perpendicular to the current.
Okay.
Just barely give them enough time to see it.
How fast are you moving it?
Moderate to fast.
Okay.
Moderate to fast. I'll show you the cadence of which I'm reeling it. Real quick, let me just give myself a little bit of juice. So we'll get back up there into that little riffle area. The cast perpendicular to the current.
Yep.
Draw out the slack. Make sure it's going.
But you're in considerable current, because like
where
you just cast to show me, this is a calm water pocket. What you're casting at is like a speed that's just on the other side of you, or even a little faster up towards the top.
Yep, and this is the speed right here.
Okay.
Ripping it across.
Okay.
And yeah, the important thing, anytime we've gotten hits, anytime I've gotten bites, it's just been pulling it across their face.
Straight retrieve perpendicular to the current.
Exactly, 100%. And just a little square bill, something like that. Perch patterns work the best in this particular area, yep. But we've caught them on craw patterns as well.
Okay.
But something dark like that would certainly do the trick.
I got craw patterns. Let me dig up some craw patterns. What I've been throwing are like the bait fish patterns, like that chrome.
Yeah, I don't think we have a whole bunch of those in here. That's like a shad. Yeah. More of the bait fish are going to look something like that with some yellow on the sides.
Okay.
Like your carp.
Really?
Or
I got an idea. If it's yellow, I got an idea. I got some gold. That's gonna be fun. All right, I got one. Got one on the lipless crankbait. Yep, cool. I got a trout. He came in quick. Got it. Yep. That's wild. Catching trout on lipless crankbaits. And pretty screaming fast current. We don't need this one, right?
No, we're good.
All right, we got enough bait. This is just cool. All right. Wild. See ya. All right, one smallmouth, one trout. Snake River. I will tell you, I've looked down in the water and seen carp that are like, I think as big as I've seen. I know that sounds absurd to say, but like in the eddy up by the bridge, like 4 or 5 of them, and one of them I looked at, I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a carp that looks like it's 5 feet long. Like it wasn't a sturgeon. It didn't have the little white diamond stripes down the side. They were definitely carp, and they were giants. So I don't doubt that fly fishing wouldn't work. They are eating off the surface. There is a hatch. I mean, just I can't keep them off my glasses, my hat, everything. Oh, there's one on the inside. Yeah, it's buggy. No wonder it's a healthy fishery. This thing's huge. I'm surprised. I'm kind of bummed you didn't see that jump. That first jump was like crazy. That's a big trout. Very big trout. Let him run his energy off on this judge. Oh gosh, that's as big a trout as I've ever caught in my life. Goodness gracious. Come here, big trout. That's amazing. Gotcha. I'll let you breathe there a minute. Wow. Like, he hit it at the boat. Yeah, this thing just annihilated the lipless crankbait right at the boat. Yep. Oh, he's off. All right, let's get these hooks away from me, dude. This is as big of a trout as I've caught. Hey, you saw him jumping?
Yeah, I see all over the place.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's a good one, dude. That's a great one. Want me to get a picture of you?
Sure. Yep, that's the biggest trout I've ever caught. I should get a length. I gotta tell you, it feels funny wetting a board like this for a trout.
Oh, dang.
He's not quite 21 inches. We'll let him go. Say thank you, Mr. Rainbow Trout. Go back in. Yep, there he goes. I would not have guessed that we'd be catching 21-inch rainbow trout on lipless crankbaits. Like that wasn't on my. I mean, it wasn't on my list of. Hey, this is what we're doing tomorrow, Steve. Like I got sturgeon on the brain. I got smallmouth on the brain. I wasn't thinking. Yeah, giant trout. I mean, For me, that's a giant. But I don't trout fish, so.
And for this area, it's really good, but it's a testament to this stretch of river.
Yeah.
Because it's so unpressured.
It's also healthy. As many bugs are flying around here, man, it's a healthy system right here. We're drifting down to the next pool, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the Stealth blade in that sort of shad color, and I actually had this tied on originally, but because he said the gold, because it's what, yellow perch is a forage here?
Yep.
Yellow perch, and I figure the golden shiner jackhammer with the diesel minnow, the redfish toad, which is just a favorite of mine anywhere. All right, Steve, how do we catch a smallmouth out here? Big ones.
Big ones. Big ones are going to be coming off of, tubes, jigs mainly. Caught a couple of really nice ones on rattle traps actually.
Okay.
Some moving baits, but it just all depends on the time of the year. But most of the time when I'm down here, it's a little unique for me because I'm soaking a bait for sturgeon.
Yep.
And I'm just flipping around for some smallies in the meantime. A lot of times these islands produce pretty good smallmouth as well.
Right.
Josh has landed some tank smallies just on these square bill crankbaits that we're throwing for these trout. This particular stretch is more trout flavored than smallmouth flavored.
Right.
But they are here. But you wind up with this area of the river. You're gonna catch your bait for the day, right? Your trout, which is what we're using. And then downriver, there's a couple of other spots, a couple other ledges, I should say, where we can really pick up some nice smallmouth, and also a nice mix of decent trout as well.
I had one trout follow on the jackhammer, and it's weird for me to go long anywhere in the country without catching a fish on a jackhammer. I guess I should just listen and go back to, something with a treble hook.
Yeah. You throw them because they work. For whatever reason,
they work.
They love that bait fish profile.
The jackhammer is a bait fish profile.
Yeah.
It's just, it has a different kind of wobble in action. All right. Is that what you catch a sturgeon on that crankbait right there?
Yeah. On accident. You don't want to land them with this.
Show me the sturgeon rig. What we're changing gears. We're actually kind of beached here on the shoreline.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna run a Hellcat. This is an extra heavy, 7'6", I believe. This is 150 pound 150 pound Hercules braid at the Penn Squall 2. And I found that the heavier braid does just so much better on big fish versus mono. For the longest time, I was a big monofilament fisherman. And the reason for that is because you want to protect the fish as much as possible. Well, when you're running 60 pound mono, you get too much stretch in the line, and there's just nothing you can do to move some of these bigger fish. So you really have to go to braid. So in an effort to keep the sturgeon safe, right, we use this very large diameter leader.
That's rope.
That's rope.
Not leader. That's rope, man.
Essentially, it's a specialty line. But the reason why this is important is because, you can put this around your hand, you can pull it tight, and it's not going to hurt, right? And that's what we don't want to hurt the fish. And if you get a braided line that's really thin, like a Power Pro, like 100 pound, it's just going to slice through the side of that fish, and we don't want that.
Not to mention your hand.
Exactly. The fish that we have in this stretch of river are the fish that we're gonna have. There's no, these fish aren't moving up and down river. What we have in this river is all we have. So we got to protect them. I prefer the octopus hooks because I seem to have a better hookup ratio for this style of fishing where we're fishing out of kayaks, we're just soaking bait.
Yep.
These fish will just get hooked more often than not by themselves, and you never deep hook them, right? You're not gonna hook them deep with like a J hook on accident. This is gonna find the edge of the mouth and it's gonna grab. That's it. So now we don't use a snap swivel, we use just a barrel swivel, right? If you use a snap swivel, you're gonna lose a fish. So what we have here coming off of our main line is we've got a surgeon's loop that we've doubled back through one end, and we've got a Palomar knot down here for this braid. Then you need a sinker slider. So this is regulation in Idaho. So this weight, if your line breaks, the weight will go with it and not stay attached to the fish.
Okay.
The reason why that's important is if you have your weight attached to your leader and you lose your tackle, you get that ghost gear, a big sturgeon could get hung up and trapped essentially on an anchor if he gets that weight snagged between a rock, and he'll starve to death. Horrible way to go. So this rig right here, this is regulation per Idaho Fish and Game.
All right, so you've dispatched this trout by stabbing it on the top of the head. What do you call that?
That's a ikejime method, and what that's going to do is I think it's a Japanese technique, but it's a very humane way to dispatch a fish quickly.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing today. Is
it ends them quick.
Ends them quick, okay. Right?
That's been done.
That's been done. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these fins, because if we're going to stake this guy up into chunks, and we're going to hook them up that way. But we want the fins to be off so that the fish is very hydrodynamic. He's not going to be. The fins will cause this thing to spin in the current. We don't want that.
Are you putting the whole thing on there, or you're cutting it into chunks?
We're going to chunk it for this section of river. If we were on the Columbia, there's some guys that might throw this whole piece of bait on there.
Okay.
But we're not going to do that today. I'm going to go right through here and up and out. And that skull plate is going to do a really good job of exposing that hook point, which is what we want. We want that hook point nice and exposed, so we get the most chances for this thing hooking up.
Yeah, you got one messing with it?
He hit it. I don't know if he's there yet.
Do they just like trap it against the bottom with their mouth?
They suck it up. Their mouth is like a giant Hoover vacuum.
Yeah. Moving on to the next spot. Still chucking a gold lipless crankbait for trout. Yeah, I wouldn't be throwing this for bass here because it's so clear, and this bait to me is very much the gold with the black back. That is a muddy water thing, you know. I throw it when they're slapping at spinner baits and not fully connecting. But man, you can see. What do you think the water clarity is here? How far down the water do you think you can see?
6 foot.
6?
Yeah.
All right. Yep, you're right. They're here. Don't jump on me with that extra hook. Yeah. Oh. Awesome. He did us the favor. See you, guy. This one's quite large. Oh.
Big one?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Holy cow.
All right. we can you help me with a dome release? Back a little bit.
I'm going to a lipless. God, Jeff.
Yep. Steve just said I'm switching to a lipless now. Boom! Look at that jump.
I heard it.
I want to get him in the net before he jumps in my face with those trebles. Gotcha. Gotcha. Slide out of here. See you, guy. Perpendicular to the current. Check it out. Wind it in. There we go. Yeah, I would tell you something that's working in my favor is that this particular lipless crankbait, the Thunderhawk one, has the spinning. Goodness gracious, this thing is big. Yeah, that's the biggest one yet. The hook spin, which is really helpful. So, yeah, this thing's. I'm a little bit afraid of this thing. That's let me get the net on him. It's in there. Wow, that's big. Very cool. And just trying to let him breathe. He has got himself off of the crankbait. He may jump up out of that net. That would be okay. I just want him breathing after all that fight. 20.5-inch rainbow trout. I think he just fought harder than the others. Very pretty fish. All right, see you, guy. Turn me around. Go in this direction. Chill under the boat. But yeah, nope, there he goes. All right, here's what I was talking about with this particular bait. As they jump with it, because there's a swivel there and there, this does not rip and tear the flesh as much because the hooks spin, and it's just a really good design that is pretty unique to, you know, crankbaits in general, but for sure a lipless crankbait. And it makes it so you land more of them and you actually cause less damage to them. If you're causing damage to them because of the treble hook is ripping, it's ripping and then they're getting off. And I actually haven't lost one yet on this, and it's because of that Thunderhawk lures. It's called the Sergeant, and this one's a 3/4 ounce. This is cool. Big trout and watching fighter jets cruise over all day from the Air Force Base. Usually seeing them 2 at a time. There's one, I'm looking for the other. I can hear two engines. I only see the one playing. There it is, there's the second one. I gave Steve one of my Thunderhawk Sergeants. I had a second one, and he's promptly hooked up. Is it a good one?
Yeah, good one. The bite's pretty good.
Oh yeah. You ever see them come in with friends? Like where there's multiples chasing them? Or is it usually just one at a time?
Usually just one at a time.
Alright, we're in the same spot, same little section, and same area that the trout are in. He's got a smallmouth on that lipless crankbait. That is wild. So I haven't got as many bites since we drifted down here. It was definitely the strongest current, like where you had that pinch point behind that shoal in the middle.
Yeah.
So faster current is what they seem to like, I guess. Oh, there's one.
That's a good one.
It feels good. Yep, that's good. Good jump. Good jumper. He thinks he's Michael Jordan. Yeah, he's good. He's a real good one. That's a ridiculous amount of things tangled right now. Oh yeah, you jumped right in. Awesome. Good job, dude. You went right for it, like head first. He's another 20 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you we were going to catch those today.
So cool. Kind of holding them down there, moving them forward with the motor, letting them catch a breath. I want to get them respirating here before I do much of anything. Yep, another one right at 20 and a half. Move up into the current with him. Let him shake his head on me. Then I'll release him with the gripper. There he is. Alright, good to go. Alright, let's do this hooked up. Smallmouth? How you getting on smallmouth, man? Steve's catching all the smallies.
Right here where the current is meeting this slack water, you're going to find a lot of good smallmouth on this line.
So we just arrived. We actually made a beeline for this current seam here that's at the end of actually the first island that we've seen. And he wanted to come here to catch smallmouth, and I think he's already got one back there. But I'm going to take the jackhammer off, and I want to try spinnerbait. It's clear water, and gold is doing it, and I got a lot of gold, very good gold spinnerbaits here to try out. Here's one. We'll give that one a go. There's a lot of grass here in the calm water at the end of the island, and you know, I feel like if they're going to have good spawning habitat, it's going to be in those grass beds. I'm pulling out into the current seam a little bit. I think I'm gonna turn around and face the current seam where it meets the grass. The creek that's dumping in here looks like it's dumping in quite a bit of stain. So might be a good place for the spinnerbait to do its thing. It's shallow though, but that stain swings way out into the river. It's muddy, but it's like a tan, sand-colored mud. All right, I've fished the spinnerbait in the grass on the current seam. Though that was activity right in there. Where this creek comes out, the mud, nothing. I did see something bust the surface. Maybe I need to go back in. The rattle trap does it. I mean, I watched Steve come down through there on that current seam and get some smallmouth. But I'm just surprised that if they're hitting a rattle trap that good, that they're not even messing with the spinnerbait. It's pretty wild. Definitely where all the current is concentrated. Steve said just on the other side of this has a nice, pretty bouncy, has a nice area to fish for the smallmouth, like blowing slow, picking it apart with soft plastic. So I got the 5-inch scented jerk shed, and we'll see how this goes. That was literally first cast, and it was swimming the scented jerk shed. So decent smallmouth here. It is a strange sort of current feature. All the water's piled up here. I mean, oh gosh, what is that? I might have just seen a sturgeon. Oh my gosh. That was a fish that was 6, maybe 7 feet long. Huh, I see why he came here. I just caught a smallmouth there, and that thing was right up here in probably 6 feet. Huh. I might have just seen my first sturgeon. See that green rod out? Talk to me, man.
So we put 16 ounces out there of lead in the money spot.
Okay.
And it's a pyramid, so it should grab a little bit better than the banks will.
Okay. You like put it over there and then mowed it all the way across here. Like that is clear on the other side.
Well, yeah, it's in the. So if you have a graph and you see the head of the hole, which is going to be right about there, you can start to see some of the heavy wave action that happens out right there. The river cuts hard on river right, so it's ate away at a pretty significant section of the right side of the river. It's just not ideal to set up on that other side of the river.
Yeah, you want to bring them up into this calmer eddy where you got a little more control and
yeah, get them out of the current. And
yep.
This is also the one place that I have ever tripled up with 3 sturgeon at the same time, and that's when we had 4 rods out with Spencer Jones, Chris Jones, Spencer's wife, and it was God, it was such an awesome, fun time.
So Steve wanted to set up on that spot. He's like, let me just give it 10 minutes, and if they're here, I'm gonna start catching them. I mean, I saw one. So there are some here for sure. I'm on the opposite side of where he's set up, and had one smallmouth eat the 5-inch scented jerk shad, just swam, but I had a bigger one, probably 17, 18-inch fish. Follow it and not eat it. And I killed it, which usually gets them to go. So, you know, as fired up as those trout were, I feel like the smallmouth are less so. maybe I just haven't figured out this fishery yet and know what they want. So we'll see. I keep looking down in the water hoping to see that. Ooh, there's someone pecking at it. Probably a smaller smallmouth. I just keep looking down here. I mean, it drops off pretty deep, and I just keep looking down hoping to catch another glimpse of that monster. That was right in front of me. Nice. Come here. Like he said, we got numbers in the spot for sure. Alright. 4-incher got him to eat. That is the most dialed down presentation I got. Always works. So I've yet to throw really a craw based bait here. And there's nice rocky bottom substrate. So what I'm tying on now is my finesse jig with the baby goats. This is the same rig that I ended up catching some of the better fish up at Dvorak with. So give this a shot, see if there's some craw eaters in this system. Literally first cast with the finesse jig. It didn't sit very long at all. So yeah, I guess there's some craw eaters in the system. Steve just hollered from right down here. Said, hey, sturgeon thing isn't happening. I got a spot down there, it's good for smallmouth. I said, okay, that works. Yeah, and you're in a boat that is good at it. Yeah, no, there is something to picking the right spot to shoot up through. So that's what we're doing, is we're gonna shoot back up top. We got one more spot to try with the sturgeon, and probably catch a few more trout on the way, right? Yeah. Swimming the 5-inch scented jerk shad. I actually had a fish in here come up and smack at a spinnerbait. We're just kind of slowly making our way back upstream, and we got these shoreline eddies, or shoreline, grass and pretty calm water. All right. Probably one of the better smallmouth of the day. The one I had follow, and it's why I kind of doubled back and came back to this spot, was considerably bigger. Came out and was like just really dark and come up. Like I felt something tag the spinnerbait, and it didn't really feel like a hit. It just kind of felt like, I honestly thought it was grass, but I sped up the retrieve anyways just to make sure, and nothing was there. And as I'm speeding it up and it's almost at the boat, I'm looking down, I'm like, that's an 18-inch smallmouth. So yeah, I'm gonna go back through this area. Is that the one that I saw earlier? Probably. It's a good one. Very good fish. Very big smallmouth. The Snake River. Oh yeah. Got a good one there, Steve.
You know, I only thought there was carp over there. Learn something new every day.
He's a nice one.
Oh, shit. Look at that. Oh, frick.
He's probably the one that came up and checked out the spinnerbait.
Dude, you like a detective and you just chased that friggin' thing down.
Yep.
Found its last known mailing address, huh?
Pretty much. Yeah, it's the 5-inch scented jerk shad just swimming it, and that's a nice Snake River smallmouth. And just, I mean, it was just a slow, straight retrieve. You were sitting there watching me fish, weren't you? And he popped it, and yeah, that's a, how big are you? He's just shy of 18. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. All right. Beautiful Snake River smallmouth. So they've not been very aggressive, and Steve did make the observation. We came back up here to where this creek was, and there was a chair that someone had dragged out on this little shoal up here. He's like, that wasn't underwater. Like the feet of it were not underwater when we came through earlier, and now the feet are underwater. So, you know, they're letting more water out of the dam, and maybe that's changing some things as far as the smallmouth activity, but hopefully also the sturgeon. As we get closer to dusk, we're gonna give it another go with the sturgeon. So look at the speed that I'm doing this with, and it's, I mean, the bait is probably 2, maybe 3 feet below the surface, just moving straight. And I've heard the term strolling used for, I guess, with people that do the forward-facing sonar, that say, all right, let me take a minnow bait like that and throw it out at fish they see. I'm just doing it because it looks like a good target, but I don't think they're probably using that style head, but it doesn't matter. They jam it. It's like, it feels good. You can feel them whack it. It's you know, in the fish world, it's the equivalent of an open field tackle in football. Like they crush it, and you know, okay, it's time to reel straight very quickly, get all the slack out, keep reeling harder into the bite, and then when you feel the weight, then you can lean back on them, but not before. Yeah, there's a few more along this bank. Oh my gosh, another good one. I think this one's bigger. I think you're bigger. Yeah, you're bigger. This sucker jumped. He jumped real good. Let's see how big you are. Yep. The last one was 17 3/4. This one's 18 3/4. Beautiful Beautiful tiger stripes on you. You definitely smell a little different than a Pennsylvania bass. All right, with extra dam gates opening up, more flow, these fish are starting to chew what this 18 3/4 inch Snake River smallmouth back in the water. Switch sides. Caught a couple over here earlier, but there's definitely a change in the amount of current. This was totally dead along this bank earlier, and now there's water moving through. There's one. I don't know what it is. I'm thinking it's a smallmouth. You thought it looked like a largie?
It looked like a largie.
Yeah. Are there any largemouth in here?
Yeah.
Really?
They're sparse, but they're in here.
Huh. Now this is a, I don't know, probably 15-inch smallmouth. 15-incher. See. You gotta be moving slower. You gotta be creeping. The bait's gotta be creeping. Like, the speed is everything. I gotta move up so you can see me. I need you to watch my reel. And I'm lining up along the edge. Which wasn't that close, but I don't know that it needs to be. It's probably,
So you're not dragging it on far.
3 feet below the surface. Moving straight. It's not doing a side-to-side thing. It's not doing...
It's just a dead swim.
It's just a straight swim. All right. There we go. I wouldn't have swung you in earlier in the day, because earlier in the day we were just catching smalls. Nice. All right, well, Steve's back there. We are cruising upstream, spooking big carp here in the shallows. We're heading back to the first place that we set up for the sturgeon. We're gonna try one more time before we get out of here. He thinks if you're, you know, with this flow is up, and I think it's gone up a little bit more since we noticed it back there. That might get these sturgeon eating. We'll see. I'm collecting the bugs as I go. The further we go upstream, the more just traveling with me. You got them too, man. Yeah. They're cruising with us.
Yeah. Like a little chariot.
They're like, all right, these guys know what's up. Let's go with them.
I'm only running 700 watts.
Yeah. It's efficient.
Wild.
It's efficient. I got a 12.5 foot boat as opposed to that 14.5, and we're going the same speed. I'm using 1024. How many watts are you using?
700.
So he's using 300 watts less to go basically the same speed, because longer boats are more efficient. That's why I designed that one, the Peregrine. Go upstream efficiently, make your battery last. I will need to switch to my battery before we're done. He probably won't. Sun is setting, and Steve's pulling out the fish heads for one more attempt at the sturgeon. So he dropped it, and then we're gonna cruise up here, which is the first spot. I don't know how many ounces he had on that one. Yeah, the water came way up from where we were here earlier.
All right, so what we're looking at right now is we got 16 ounces of weight lead just sitting at the bottom of the river. The current is pushing against the line, so we see that bow and the line. Now the rod tip is going to do two different things when, you know, if a sturgeon bites or if it's breaking loose in the current. Rod tip essentially goes down like a trout bite. That's a sturgeon tasting it. If it comes up first and then down, that means it's just breaking free in the current and tumbling down. So you don't want to get too excited about it.
All right, I guess no sturgeon this trip. Had a lot of fun catching the trout on a lipless crankbait. That is crazy. It changed quite a bit from when we came down, and now that they've opened up more gates, it's really pushing. So I'm curious. This is my first day on the Snake River. Really excited to have more days, especially with Steve. He's got a lot of experience here with the sturgeon, but also the smallmouth and the trout. What a fantastic fishery here on the Snake River here in Idaho. Thanks for watching. See you.